Who's your emergency contact? Who should we notify in the case of death? Welcome to the USP, where I spent the last 2+ decades of my life. This is an interview with my friend Paul Alma, who passed away back in 2023. I was fortunate enough to be able to interview him a few weeks before he left us. We love you, brother. We miss you. Rest in peace.
We just have a oxygen tank that's a little bit loud, so we're gonna try to get it switched out to something that's not gonna be as noisy. Paul's voice is a little soft right now.
That should be quiet enough. That air's still on? That's fine. It's still on. Oh, you turn it off. Okay.
Just gotta get you on my breathing. Ain't found the way yet, but working at it. No? It's too short of breathing, so you gotta be like, how we breathe. Break that down into stimulators. Let's breathe 5 times in the same thing, we breathe 1.
Yeah.
Babe, move that mic a little closer to you guys.
Good, bro. Just to be here.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wish we weren't having, like, this interview under these circumstances, you know, because, you know, since we've been home, or before we were coming home, I'm pretty sure, like, men like us, we had this idea about really trying to use our experience to reach back to the youth, to share our stories. Hopefully, maybe that it prevent some of these kids from having to go through the same journey that we've been through, you know. But, you know, the situation we are at now, it's like, you know, the story is really like, sometimes, you know, when you finally reach a certain age and come to a point in your life where you're able to reflect on the past 20, 30 years of your life, and you realize that maybe, you know, things wasn't all that what it was cracked up to be. And then you decide to change, you know, through a 20-year span from the time you were getting in trouble to the person that you are now. There's no question that you're definitely not that same young person that was out there running around. And sometimes it takes longer for people to get to the point in their life where they wake up. I call it waking up because at the end of the day, like you and I, we're sitting here right now, and we can both say that really, like, what did we give our lives up for? You know, things that we bought into. We can take those core values that we believe in, the loyalty, the love, you know, the integrity, conducting ourselves as men, and apply it into the real world out here and get somewhere in life. Like, we wasted our energy, our loyalty, our love to something that was destructive and at the end of the day, unproductive, you know, because we're in our mid-40s and we're barely out back home now trying to figure out how to start our lives, and then we're like babies, adolescent, we're clueless to really what's going on in the world because while we were in there, we never had the experience or no one ever gave us the information or the knowledge on how to cope in here, how to get a job, just even any type of job skills. Because, you know, it wasn't like we've already been out here paying rent, living on our own and doing our own thing before we got locked up. We've been locked up since we were juvies. And incarceration is all that we know. And while we're incarcerated, you know, the highest level of education to give you in there is a GED. You know, and you don't really even have to pass, you know, be intelligent, even have the like intellect of a GED. You just got to figure out how to get, you know, pass the test. And the prison gets a bonus for each people they sign up and enroll in a GED, and they get a bonus or payment for every people that graduate. But after that, what are you doing with these men in here that's doing decades of time? You always cry about the recidivism rate, right? Did I say that right? You know,
Recidivism.
Recidivism, where people are repeating and going back to prison. And then when you see that, you see the rate, you see the high percentage of return felons and convicts, and you're quick to point the finger like, look, see, I told you we shouldn't have let them out. I told you they couldn't make it out on the street. I told you they're a bunch of screw up, this, on and on and on and on. But the last decades, the last 2 decades, while they were incarcerated, you never made an effort to prepare these individuals for the streets. You never prepared them to get a job. You never educate them on the times, on the modern job, you know, trades that are needed at this time. Because the stuff that are needed today in the labor force is not what it was 20 years ago. Now everything is all technology. We don't have no computers, and we get a word process, learn how to type, but that's big. We don't know how to navigate the website. 99% of the people that come out of prison don't even know how to write a resume. You know, so on one hand, you're complaining that these dudes come out of prison and recommit. On the other hand, you're not trying to prepare them or give them a fighting chance when they come home. So you can't win, you know, you just want to be able to win it, you know, what's the saying, have your cake and eat it too. You want to be able to win both ways. Like, oh, we locked them up, it didn't help. Look, we let them out, they didn't change. But in the process, in between time, you never really gave anybody a fighting chance. Because most people that go to prison are people from low-income family, you know, whatever, lack of a better word, the hood, ghetto, you know, underprivileged communities that education wasn't a priority in their community in the first place. So when they go to prison, you know, the only people like myself, I was fortunate I had family and a wife out here that were able to send me books and let me study up on subjects that I was interested in. But you've been there. How many of us in a unit actually have that access, have that resource? So the rest of them, they're left to fend for themselves. And when you go to the law library, you go to education, the only kind of books they have is Star Trek series, 1 to 2000, you know what I mean? Indiana Jones series, you know, Star Wars series, all these crap. Mm-hmm. So really, what I'm trying to emphasize through the stuff that I'm doing is just showing people like, you know, we're not the same individuals that we were when we first got locked up. But now when we come home, we're really at a disadvantage, not just because we've been incarcerated all the time. We're at a disadvantage because, you know, we're at an age of when we're supposed to be expected to be grandparents. Our house is 2/3 of the way paid off. You know, we're looking forward to our 401k, retiring in a few years, collecting whatever. But instead, we're just like fresh out of high school, clueless, don't have no job skills, don't have no education. And part of the program that I'm trying to do is just emphasize that you don't want to be here, teleported 25 some years into the future and still be the same mindset, still have the same education level, still have the same job skill, and, you know, trying to find a way to rebuild your life. But, you know, just telling you not to do this, not to do that, doesn't really resonate, doesn't go into someone's ears. So I want to show them the reality. Because, you know, like every show you see, everything you see the glorification of the highlights, you know. But that's like a speck a grain of sand in a span of time compared to the other stuff that we don't talk about. The sitting in a cold cell, the getting shackled, the transport, being bused here to there, not calling your family, not being there, missing out on things. Just there's so much to it that the youth aren't exposed to or emphasized. And when we don't emphasize the other aspect of it, it seems like we, in essence, make the stuff that we're doing seem cool. Part of the program is showing people the reality of the life that we live. For a few, that it turns out great. But for a lot of us, it's funerals, decades of prison sentence. It's a lot more hardship than all the stuff that we glorify. I have here sitting with me is Paul Alma. He came out here. When did you come out here to Utah?
It was 1988.
Me and him first ran into each other in the county jail in in early 2000, and through the process of our incarceration, we ended up being co-defendant. I ended up knocking out a guard, taking his keys, and letting this guy out of the cell. But we haven't seen each other since then.
I said appreciate it.
Yeah. And that was in 2000. And right now it's 2023. It's been that long since we've seen each other. And the reason I'm here today is, I got a lot of love. We met in the county jail, but through the course of the last 2 decades, we've kept in touch through our people out here, and we become friends. And, in our world, whether you agree with it or not, you have to respect it, because the life that we live, I like to say, isn't a life for busters, because it's not easy. And he's become a legend in his own right, growing up out here in Utah, being in the federal prison for the last 20 years. Like, if people are entering the federal prison or been in the federal prison in the last 20 years, if they talk about Asian Islander, everybody know who C-Nut is. Was it Park Village, Compton Creek?
Just Google me up.
But today I just want to let him share his story and how we got to today. Like, you can start out with, like, your parents, your family, how many brothers and sisters you had, where you grew up.
Yeah, I'm the youngest out of 9 siblings. Got 6 boys and 3 girls. So you can understand that with that. And my parents, I had my mom and dad back then. Came to Utah in '89. In the summer of '89, my mom brought me and my brother out here and my one sister, just to get us away from the gang in South Central California. Of course, it did not work at the time, because we're juvenile youth, and just, in the gang world, gang banging, people want a reputation or a name, or just be some kind of factor in the neighborhood they choose to represent or claim. But that's why I was out here, and it was different. It was a night and day from Cali or Compton to West Valley City, Salt Lake City.
Well, what did you find that was different?
You didn't have graffitis, you didn't have homeless people around constantly, you didn't have drug addicts.
How old were you at that time?
I was 9.
But you said you're the youngest in 9, so all your brothers that were back in Compton, they was already gang banging?
Yeah, all my family was some way, except my sisters. Some way was involved in the, you know, in the era where everybody was just
So
being a fool.
what was it that you saw when you were a kid that you wanted to emulate your brothers, or that you wanted to live this lifestyle? Like, what brought you? How did you start into this?
As my cousins and my brothers and their friends, how they treated each other with respect, and, always with each other. Just I would be like them. I knew I was going in that same direction they was going.
So what led you to your juvie? Like when you first got locked up? How old were you when you first got locked up?
I was 9.
You was 9.
Yeah, I came out here when I was 13. And basically on paper, started my little run-ins with West Valley City and Kern Sheriff, Police Department, a lot. Anywhere from, because I was young, having tobacco, drinking, curfew, just little stuff like that. It became like car robbery or robbery, and it went up and up.
Yeah. Well, what led you to get locked up into in juvie that ended up getting you certified and going to the pen?
Well, that's when we had the detention centers, 2 of their spare keys, but one locked us in. That was a smart move. We couldn't go out more. But we had the keys and the staff in the back with us. Just came out of my room, put staff in the cell, started breaking windows, doing dumb stuff till the SWAT came.
Well, you guys were able to get a hold of a couple of keys while you guys were in juvie, and from those couple of keys, you guys decided that you guys were might be able to make it out, break out.
Yeah, well, somewhere out,
Somewhere out of the
Yeah,
facility,
yeah,
out of the
out of the
unit.
unit,
Well, I mean, did you ever think you were gonna be able to get over the wall or the
Yeah,
fence?
that's what I'm saying. That
Yeah.
one little key
Yeah.
that runs the hallway
Yeah.
from right there to you're in the multi-purpose room or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So how far did you guys get?
now we're just that little
Hallway?
hallway in the bathroom, and the door was locked too.
Yeah. So how old were you when that happened?
I was 15, 16, yeah, about that.
And from that incident, they certified you as an
16.
adult?
Yeah.
So you went to what, the state prison?
Now, Jupiter, Utah State Prison.
So you was already in an adult state penitentiary at the age of 16,
Yeah.
17?
Mm-hmm.
So what was it like out there in, you go Gunnison or Draper?
Draper.
Draper. So now you hit the big house. Like, how is it being a 16-year-old kid going up knowing that you're going to the penitentiary? Because I already know if you're already in juvie that you've already been around people that's been in prison and they've already been telling you stories, maybe glorifying things or trying to scare you. But you've already heard about stuff that goes on in the penitentiary. So what was your mindset being at 16, knowing you're going up there, than actually walking through the gate?
I was really like, damn, this is really, an adult prison. I was already 18 at the time, but still,
Yeah.
just trying to see who was who. Out of the homies, we had a pretty big, decent car.
So you already knew a bunch of people that were going to be there when you showed up?
Yeah, we know who was there already.
Yeah, so you weren't as worried?
No, it was Leo, Kiowa,
what was your like? Well, I was gonna get at like, what was your mindset when you're like, oh yeah, I'm with the big boys now. You were excited to be there, or just like you're like, damn, I really fucked up. Like, you know, that's the kind of that's my question. Is like, how was it when you went in there? What was your feeling about being there? You know, okay, you got your people, you feel at home. Were you comfortable in this environment, or were you ever contemplating like, damn, like what got me here, or anything like that?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Psychologically, because I'm always acting with somebody. You know, why or I'm taking off with somebody. So they be saying that, hey, I'm still too young, but I can't process it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the only way I could do it is like a temper tantrum or something, which is left on. So maybe that is what was up. You don't know how to get it, talk with them, or explain yourself better.
Yeah.
That you just wild out, you know.
You got locked up when you were 15. So, how far along did you go to school? Did you go to school? Like, where did you go to school?
I went to what's called it was like a transitional school.
Well, I mean, did you go to elementary school out there in California?
Some of them.
Some of them. When you got here, did you
I
go
was
to
the youngest where you don't even have to go to school.
Yeah. So I mean, when you got here, did you go to junior high to any of these schools,
No.
or like, so you didn't go to any of these schools out here in Utah?
Like Horseman and Garfield.
Well, it was like dropout schools or like
Yeah,
alternative
alternative,
education.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Don't go to the other schools.
So how long did you do when you was up there in the state when you cut that when they certified you?
5.
So when I met you in what, in '99, 2000, you had already just came out of that state, and what were you going to the? When we met, you were on a Fed case. So what was your case for that Fed case right now?
Firearm.
Firearm.
Yeah.
And then while you were in there, you caught what, 3 assault on staff?
Yeah.
And what did they give you for all that?
49 months.
For the assault on the staff? And then what did they give you for the firearm?
20, one was like 16, one was like, the rest,
So just to emphasize, he beat up 3 COs in the county jail and got a total of what, 46 months?
That's not say beat him up. It's assault.
Yeah, you assault. Okay, they charged for assault. But one of them you was hitting. Yeah, you punched a few of them.
Just always getting into it with the correctional officer, man, to make it harder sometimes.
Yeah.
So you got 4 years for that?
Yeah.
And what did you get for your original charge?
Got like 5 for the gun.
5 for a gun. So you end up doing about 9 years the first time.
Yep.
Where they send you to?
Colorado, Florence, Beaumont, USP, Hazleton, USP. I was in Indiana. Was
Terre Haute?
Terre Haute, USP, all in. So I've been in about like 8 USPs.
Yeah.
So the assault on the COs caught you with the Fed case?
Yeah.
No, you already had a Fed case for the gun.
Yeah.
Oh.
But while he was there, he ended up catching an assault.
Yeah. They don't run nothing concurrent. That's what's suck about it.
Yeah. Well, you know, like what we did in there, those were supposed to be state cases because you know if one of the guards whoop us and we decide to sue the jail, we can only sue the county jail and the state. We can't sue the feds. So my question is, why can't sue the feds and hold them liable because of the staff? How are they able to charge us federally? You know, they're saying that the feds has a contract with the state, county. So in essence, because of the contract, the state employees that are guards or police or whatever are acting as an agent of the federal government because of the contract. So it's up to their discretion if they want to charge us federally or let the state charge us. But again, I repeat, if one of these people that is contracted with the feds, in our case, the ADC, and they beat our heads in, we can't sue the feds. So, if anybody has any common sense, it's like, you know what I mean? It's one-way street.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So when you got to Florence, like this is your first time in the feds, you're going to a USP, like how was it compared to the state, and did it meet your expectation? Or just take us through when you first got over there to Florence.
No, it was better than other USP Florence. But with the homies, I didn't get on an Islander count. I got on a Crip count because we're Crips out here.
Yeah.
They said it was two different things. That's when I just let them know. Well, with JJ and all of them, my homies right here was my people.
Yeah.
So that came cool with the homies. Other than that,
So you ran Crip your whole time?
yeah. But every Islander affairs, you could tell them I was involved with them.
Yeah, I mean, like,
There was like my people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, when we first hit in the
We
feds,
go
like,
with the Islanders. The Crip homies know, they ain't tripping on us shit. Like they my people.
yeah, we built up, like, when we fished in, like, we did most of our time from Colorado and out west, up and down California. And a lot of the homies that come through the system, a lot of poly homies, they gangbang on the streets. Some of them were Crips and Bloods on the streets. But when they came, they decided to run with the Asian Islander car, and some of them decided to run with the Crip car. Like, for us, it's however you declare yourself. There's no stigma on what you choose or anything like that. Is once you declare yourself, that's who you are. But we still have interpersonal relationship where, we have a lot of homies that gangbang, so, through the course of their time, they affiliate and hang out and fuck with some of the dudes that are Crips and Bloods, and we build rapport with them to the point where we aid and assist each other. They're the Crips, the Blood, they're not obligated to come and assist the Asian Islander if something happens, but like he ran Crip, and while the homies, that's the homie, he's gonna make a choice if he wants to aid and assist, and then his homeboys, they're gonna look at it, is he somebody they respect? Usually if they somebody they respect, they already know the homie's not gonna jump out there with somebody if it ain't for a good reason. Because everybody has cars and gangs and different racial lines, but at the end of the day, like I said I repeat, on Man Time, men, we build relationships with each other, and we have friends that are of different races, that are different gangs, that we have no question. If we're walking the yard and something pop off that involves any of these dudes that we mentioned, we're gonna involve ourselves, and we'll deal with the consequences later. But we're not gonna be friends and walk around with somebody if we're just gonna leave them hanging when shit pops off. If you're that type of person, man, I don't want to don't be around me. Because being in an environment that we're in, shit pops off all the time. Like when you were in Florence, were you there when they had the blacks and the white riot? Oh, you got there later? And then, yeah. So what was one of the incidents that you remember that was pretty big, that left an impression in you when you was over there in Florence?
When Rudy and Mike cut that dude up in the cell, was eating him.
When you talking about the two Guamanian dudes in the shoe,
yeah.
when they killed that dude in the shoe, and
It happened when I was on the yard.
yeah,
It was the shoe, I never met him.
yeah.
That kind of be like, yeah, that's nasty. It'd be some spiritual kind of person, whatever they're doing.
They do like stuff like that when we tell people, like people really, like some of them, they have a hard time wrapping their heads around. I mean, just think about it. We're in an environment where there was 3 individuals in a cell. 2 of them ended up deciding to kill the other guy, but it wasn't enough to just stab him up, kill him, or choke him out and kill him. After he was dead, they cut him open and pulled out all his intestines and like strung it up throughout the cell. Being a young kid, going into the system at 18, 19 years old and spending the last 2+ decades of your life coming into situations like this, if you're not actually sit there witnessing it yourself, it's happening in the block next to you, or it's happening in the prison to you. What do you think, like, being in an environment like that for so long, what do you think that plays? How do you think that plays in your psyche? Are you affected by it? Are you able to just brush it off? Like,
Yeah, I just what it was for. I was raised in the city of Compton in the 70s. Late 80s, early 80s and late 80s. So it gotta be something real bad to catch my attention.
So you growing up in Compton, you've already seen like a certain level of violence. So when you, for a lack of a better word, when you graduated into the juvie system, then onto the penitentiary, like, to continue to see the violence that go on around you didn't really affect with you because you've already been like
Acclimated.
Yeah, or like what's that word? Desensitized. Desensitized. We got a couple of fobs over here trying to speak English. Desensitized to his stuff, But like if you ask anybody, like these professional people, these counselors, these therapists and stuff, we always have these questions: is it nurture or nature? Is somebody raised in Compton as opposed to Beverly Hills, despite their environment, if you put the same person, are they going to be able to receive the same level of success or be the same type of person regardless if you put them in Compton or in Hollywood? Like the argument for nurture is that no, they're not going to be the same person because one, just its namesake in it, you already know if you're living in Hollywood, you're going to be born privileged. You're going to have access to a certain level of education. You're going to have access to resources that someone like you growing up in Compton ain't going to have. And not only that, you're going to be exposed to a different type of environment where no one's getting shot up in Hollywood. No one's running up in stores, robbing them, carjacking them. I don't even know if they have like neighborhoods, everything's all fenced up or whatever. But the point is that it's a whole different environment as opposed to you growing up in Compton and seeing things right outside your doorstep.
I don't see nothing but incarcerations, being incarcerated.
How much time did you do in total?
It's the age of 12 or altogether.
Altogether, all the time you spent locked up.
And that's like
total your whole life.
I'm 46. I started getting locked up since I was 9. A lot of adults back then when I was young, because you're not young or the youngest out of 9 siblings, which my eldest was 16 years older than me. They said.
Yeah.
On down. So I kind of knew how to blend,
Yeah.
Until you stop and realize how young I am. Like, how old are you? I just tell them 13. It's still young, but
Yeah, so 35
it'd
years
probably be like 3 years
that you were out.
since I was 9. Like 3 years. All the rest of 3 years I've been out, but the rest I've been down.
How long
So
ago
that's
did you
why-
come home?
Huh?
When did you come home?
This year, last year. Yeah, but in and out things was no more than 6 months. So it would be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. For a violation, I'm back in.
Yeah. I know you've been home 3 times since I met you. Every time I find out you're home, we try to get your number, you're already back
And
in.
like, damn, I wish that was me, man. Damn.
Yeah.
What helped you get through? Do you have a close connection with your family? You have brothers who are
Yeah.
incarcerated?
All of 2 got out, and he's still out. Just being in tune with the higher purpose, like God. You know, my head was God, and I was one of His soldiers. He'll help me survive anything I need.
Are you a Christian?
No, I'm LDS. I believe that's who I was raised with. But yeah, staying in tune with God. He never left me yet. He puts things or people or I was supposed to be put, and then there you go. But they gain things, everybody be thinking I'm gonna be for life, but it was a part of the taking. It's my family, so it's like saying no, but it's just the ones that ain't with it no more, you know.
Yeah.
Like that.
How'd you survive? You hustle?
Yeah, I've always been a young hustler.
Like in the prison, what were you doing to like
I could have
eat?
stores, or I could be, but I always used to get stuff, if it was boats, make them, and have something sell them. So everybody's making a cut, you know? Well,
Like Mesa for the most part was gambling. Like always running a table.
mm-hmm. Yeah. And poker tables, blackjack, or it could be running a ticket.
It's like when you were coming home, like what was your mindset when you were getting out this time? Like, what were you hoping to do when you came
It
home?
was crazy because everybody says I'm not gonna do this, but mine was I can't do this, like, and come back with the same shit. You know, being around drugs and firearms. You know, that kind of just tripped me out, but I was just telling them to stop, look, and see what you're facing. Don't be discouraged. Just have a little time for yourself. You know, if you think you got others, you're wrong. How can you get others? You ain't even got yourself.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us don't see that. So, about look at himself and what he's doing, whatever he's in or on, trying to make them see who they think they are. I think we believe that we're this person that we image every day, you know, but it's really not you. You know, you could be doing it for a good cause, but sometimes people's thinking is just, it's not all there. But once he sees, or her, she sees what she's facing, and then you could tell them, you know, or I could tell them, that's not the life, not the path. You thought it was. It wasn't. No homie's throwing money on your books like that. If he is, that's more than a brother, you know? Or that's more than a homie. Yeah.
Well, like all the time you were doing time, who was the ones that was looking out for you? Who were the ones that picked up your phone call?
My family. certain girls I had back then, you know, friends.
But was that, like, you know, if you have, I'm sure you have nieces and nephews, right? And plus you got young homies just run around, you got friends that got kids and stuff. Like, they were in this room right here with us, and you seen a few of them that's been getting in trouble. But you know, we know from our experience that it's, you know, it's a bunch of micro decisions that leads up to the big one. You know, like you start, you know, cutting school, you start not coming home, you start, you know, maybe shoplifting, whatever, and then eventually it's gonna progress and get to the point where it's hard to turn back from. You know, because, like, you know, when we first started out as kids or whatever, we might not have had a full understanding of the seriousness that it can eventually get to. Because from running around as a junior high kid, running around as a high school kid, and running around as an adult, there's different levels to it. You know, there's different levels to the crime, there's different levels to the violence. And then, you know, as you progress, one thing leads to another, you get to the point where you can't turn back from it. You know, we've all been to funerals. We right now still have people that we care about that's incarcerated that aren't coming home. You know, us ourselves been through that. So if you had these young kids over here, like, what would you share with them what would you say to them to, like, have them take a second look at the direction they're going? But was that one for all for one mentality there with the homies that was out here that you was running around with?
There's to these, you know, do their own thing. To each his own.
Kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. But yeah, my brother's always been incarcerated, so
Yeah.
now I have relationships with them because they're out now, you know. We're out now.
All your brothers was in gangs and been to prison?
At one time, yeah.
Yeah.
My third to the oldest, he's coming out, Big Jake, sometime next year or this year.
Yeah.
So he's been down about 40 years.
You have a brother that's been incarcerated for the last 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So before you were a teenager, you already had family members that was already in gangs, that was already going in and out of prison already.
Mm-hmm.
And these were the people that you had around you that were, in essence, the people you looked up to. You know, did they ever, like, discourage you from joining the lifestyle, or did they encourage you to participate?
Neither or.
It was just like you just wanted. They couldn't keep you away.
Yeah.
Regardless of what they said, you was gonna do what you were gonna do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Just looking at me like a little brother, and they got their kids, kind of, you know.
Yeah.
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
The whole neighborhood was smashed like that, you know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Throughout our country, depending on what city you live in, the kids that grow up in there don't really have a fighting chance because those neighborhoods are already sanctioned off and claimed by their respective gangs already. You know, I can only speak from the experience that growing up, and I grew up more out on the West Coast. Like in Utah, we don't really have neighborhoods that are divided up like that. But you know, when you in different part of towns, you already know, oh, it's mostly Crips out here, or it's mostly Asians out here, or, you know, when you go into the Valley, or when you go to Rose Park or Glendale, you know. But out in California, you know, when you move into a neighborhood, it's already sanctioned off. They have like a undisclosed agreement on where the territory ends. Mm-hmm. You know, from here to here, it's gonna be the Crips. From here on here, it's gonna be the Norteños. From here to here, it's gonna be the Bloods. You know, So kids that grow up in those neighborhoods, you're already growing up in gang territory. And a lot of us want to be accepted by other people. You know, the thing is like, how do we get the kids to want to be accepted by different type of people that they've been wanting to get acceptance by? Because, you know, these kids that grow up in these neighborhoods, you see these older ones, maybe they got cars, maybe they got jewelry, you know, as far as for like the guys, the boys or whatever, they see their older homies running around, they got girls, and they're idolizing these people because all they see is the flashy part of the lifestyle. And they want to be accepted by these people. So they run around, hang out, like, you know, like you don't want, no one can tell you to go home. You know what I mean? Because this is what you saw, you know, it spoke to you and this is what you wanted to. But, you know, maybe because young kids gravitate towards that because they haven't had options to look at other people that they might been able to idolize or perceive as role models, you know. And that's just the thing, is how do we change our kids' mindset to idolizing somebody that owns their own business, that is, you know, playing sports or going to college, as opposed to these dudes like us that was just out on the streets.
Like with other kids not picking it up, or is there, you got some in the neighborhood, the homies?
Yeah.
You know, he's just a homie, but he never been a part of really our shit.
You know, like you mentioned, like you wanted to do something with the youth.
Yeah.
Like, share with me what your concept is and what your goal is with that. But what's the difference between that kid's mindset as opposed to the homies that are homies that get put on? Like, how can we, like, have the kids that wants to get put on, wants to live this lifestyle, think in the same aspect as the ones that are just hanging out, but, you know, not really participating in the lifestyle? But because, you know, we all live in the same neighborhood, we're all friends.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, regardless of how you feel about that kid that just hung out, doesn't participate, but, you know, he's your friend, 10 years down the road, he's going to be in a better position in life than a lot of the homies that got put on. A lot of the homies that got put on 10 years down the road, you know, our phone is ringing and you have a collect call, you know, or this call is prepaid. You know, so how do we, because really at the end of the day, all we're doing is feeding the system.
Yeah.
And we're feeding the system because we're not educating our youth in the right direction. You know, a lot of us that's come home, I mean, this is not the fault or blame anybody, because me coming home, I see firsthand, you're seeing firsthand how hard it is to build our life, to make rent, to get, you know, things, just the necessities that we need to get along for that day. So how do we find time to go outside of that and invest in our community and our youth? You know, like a lot of people, when they come home, they don't have the luxury of time. They're grinding, trying to put their life back together. So, but doing that, we're almost doing the youth a disservice because they're lacking the experience that we could share with them. You know, another perspective of outside the glorifying shit that people always like to share. You know,
And to hear a kid out, you gotta pretty much be a conversation with them instead of just a look of, oh, I see you, it's up, you know.
yeah.
Gotta be in their inner circle, you know. And a lot of us don't do that. But
Yeah,
to
we're not taking the
our
time.
kids or
Yeah.
our family member, like, you know, just all you have to say is just, hey, what's your name? I might not even know my niece or nephew name because a lot of them, I forget their names. To build, like, so they got parks out here, to build like a station, but it's for the city, city works for the state, whatever, it goes over and over. But they got a little job back there. They can pass out little balls or whatever, it'll be in the office. You just got a little one-man office with so many equipments in there you can use.
Yeah.
You know, like basketballs and or handball or that little what they call that, handball, pinball thing.
Ping pong.
Yeah.
But what's your idea behind why do you want to provide this for like what are you hoping to achieve, or what kind of?
There's a lot of parents ain't got time for, not in that way, their kids, because they could be shopping, they want to do this, they want to do that. You just leave a kid to himself on that area. They work in that area, you know. Or maybe she wants, you know, because if kids ain't got their parents or no see nobody to talk to, they'll be talking to wrong people.
Yeah, I mean,
wrong person, you know.
Like I said again, we're experiencing life as an adult for the first time. And I mean, at least for me, you had a couple of shots at it, but for me, so I understand the demands of life, and a lot of people that, everything comes down to income. I mean, even people that are rich, they got money, whatever, but they don't have the time for their children, for their kids, and their kids go and do whatever they do. But it's prevalent in a lower income community because, between the 24 hours that we have, our parents, like when we came here, we never really hung out and had a conversation with them. But even just within our culture, we don't really converse like that, But our parents being here newly in America, their objective was to put a roof over our head and put food on the table, and they grind away working the low labor jobs that, immigrants and other groups that came before us didn't want, because, in every circle, every economy, you're gonna get shuffled through. The blacks were the labor, then the Chinese, right now, it's the Mexicans. It's just everybody usher in the new low level labor. And our parents were one of those when we first came to America. And, you can see the economy now, how unaffordable everything is. So both parents are having to work. Some of them are having having to work 2 jobs. So the kids are left to their own demise. And all we have is people coming to them telling them, hey, don't be out in the streets, don't run around and do this, don't run around and do that. But they're not providing a space or a place for these kids to go burn up that energy. They're gonna go do something. So before we tell these kids, hey, don't do this, do that, we have to be in a position to say, hey, let's do this instead. Why don't you come over here and learn how to paint, learn how to play some type of sports.
To go to the kids, to talk with the kids, and see how many kids will attach to.
Yeah.
Because that's the lifestyle they want. We already did that, been there.
Yeah, we're not gonna reach every kid. Like when we speak to somebody, some kids already made up their mind, they're too hard, they're not gonna want to hear it. They're gonna, and some of them they're gonna want to learn the lessons themselves. However hard it is, some people are just made up that way. But
you dropped out from.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But we still need to go over there. We still need to have the conversation because, like you said, out of a crew of kids, there's gonna be 1 or 2 that gravitates towards us. That the things that we say is gonna resonate with them, and when we see that spark in their eye, or that maybe that second that look that they're contemplating their lives or the things that we say, then we need to invest more energy towards those kids. You're not gonna be able to force these kids or anybody else to do the things that they're not ready to do anyway. But you can provide a space and ways to encourage them, to deviate from whatever it is that they're doing now. But like looking at your life, the last 40-something years, and you got these kids saying, like, what lessons have you learned? What stuff that you know now you wish you would have known then, and you could share with these kids?
Mm-hmm. Like what would you want to be now? You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like when you grow up, like now, you get when you grow up, what you want to be now? Because you know, kids, they're gonna think they're that age. Give me this. This is what I'm gonna be. You know, I think life is that easy, but you know, because I see it in my son when he asks me questions, it's lined up. You know, he'll be adding a number. So it's to be like a more of a advocate with the kids, you know. Or we could come by, chop them up, take them, or do them talkings or something, whatever.
How old is your son?
7, just turned 7. Just to have it set it straight for the kids, it's hard. But we can start by giving them, you know, tools you got, you know, the blessings, and they're part of your expertise. Is this? I like it.
You know, your whole life you've been dealing with diabetes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how was it dealing with that while you were locked up?
It was hard, really hard, especially if I was in the population, and be in the back and smoke or something. But yeah, it was hard. It wasn't easy, especially when they lock down. Your meds don't come on time. Down there, they don't. Be like, oh, instead of be like, oh, hang in there. It's real, you know what I mean? It's real talk.
All right, though. Like, you know, I've been in a few instances, been around some people that are diabetic, and I guess like when your sugar is low or whatever, you guys like spaz out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We can. Because we're not. We're not there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's bad, man. Like they don't care. A lot of them just after during a lockdown, you got to do FCR or something. It's leave. So I don't even take my insulin for a whole day then, or 2.
Did you find yourself that you had to like compensate for your sugar intake outside of, you know, having to wait from the medical people? That's it. Were you able to like
some way, somehow
supplement some of the sugar and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you have to do that a lot, or was it like?
No, my sugar was always high.
Yeah.
I need insulin.
No. Oh, you produce too much sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what are the ones that it's still diabetic if you don't produce enough sugar, or was that different, something else?
So you mainly like watch what you're eating when you're not able to get to your meds?
Yeah. It's better for you not to take insulin if you ain't got nothing to eat.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what's going on with you now?
Well, I got cancer, colon cancer, stage 4, and the other cancer, I don't even know what it is. I got diabetes, but just to make it to the youth that's out there that could be watching this, that I ain't got too much longer to live, but I'm still here, and the thing I did in life, like you guys wish you could be there to see what's happening during the time. But if you're going to school, stay in school. Don't do nothing else. Stay in school. Be a smart one. Don't do drugs. Because you're looking at one main one. But that's all I want to do. Takes you away from the truth who you are. Stay away from drugs. And just be about who you want to be. You ain't copycatting, just be what you want to be. Because when I thought I was going to be what I want to be, it was not where I wanted to be. There ain't too many people who go that far in the hood set. So, and then when I thought I knew what I had got coming, it's not what I want. No, but dudes trying to throw, just lash back your name, spit on your name, you know, them types. After you made it to the top, like, oh nigga, you did this, nigga, you did this, nigga. Shut the fuck up. But just don't be somebody you're not. Don't be no gang member. If you're a member, you're just a member. You know. But the rest of them, be who you want to be and stay free. Like the rest of them. And I got cancer and I wanted to rest my soul, to be that good person. I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this. It took all that from me because I thought I knew what I had coming. So, it's what they gave me. But I had plenty of years, 46 years old. So.
Did you know you had cancer before you came home?
I never knew I had cancer till this year.
How long were you out before you found out?
I was out for probably a month, 2 months or something.
But before you came home on this last time, before you came home, you had already made up your mind that you were tired of this lifestyle, that you were gonna take a different direction. And when you came home, you got diagnosed with leukemia. With colon cancer. And like, how do you feel about that? Like, just the whole situation right now.
Well, my girl helped me out a lot. Girl, Autistic Bill. Did you hear that? But it was bad. So if you gotta take care of it, I'll give you some time. But me knowing it, have been diagnosed with it, it's not so easy, but steady going, smoking. But me having colon cancer and thinking I'm gonna be just free, rather than having not having diabetes or something, cancer, or both of it together, it's a mix. It's crazy. Because if I ain't got an appetite, I don't eat, I don't take no insulin. And that's from the other side. Yeah, man, it's hard. I want to put it to the youth, because with the youth, it's all that I wanted to, but if I could talk to somebody about the park thing, they might just put it there for the kids,
Well, who are the people that we speak to, that we have to talk to even inquire about something like that?
Somebody that works at the city,
Yeah.
or the city, like them trucks, clean up the,
Where would you want this park to be?
Where would you
where
want this
would you want
park
it?
to be?
every park they get,
Yeah, all the corners.
build.
Just build a little section of the
Build
park where they
little
give
where-
out little balls and stuff
Yeah.
for kids to come and
They got a van out, park
Yeah.
in the front, they work for the park.
get it to where they could just check it out, like
Mhm.
like those You know, they have like these community rec center that you can come, you can check out balls, you can work out. But to go there for a day pass is $6-7. I mean, $6-7 to people that have money, that's pennies, it's nothing. But to these kids that are living in these neighborhoods that don't have a dollar, how are they gonna scrape up $6-7? You know,
What about even buying year passes for people?
yeah, like you have these community centers, right? One, the state's already paid for it. It's a community center, so you had funding from the states. You're not supposed to be a place for profit. This is a place for the community, for kids that are not able to travel and go to other places to come and go swim, go work out, go play ball. But we're still charging we're charging them pennies on the dollar, but really it adds up if it's $6 per visit, you know, or $50 a freaking month. Like if these things are for the community, then let's let it be for the community. But so you want to be able to just put up a little station like how when we go out to rec where they have a little shack where we go check out the items to go play. Yeah, okay, I got you. When we go out to rec, you know, when you hit the yard, they got a toolbox, you know, where they got all the football, softball, horseshoe, whatever it is that you could use, you know, pertaining to that area that you're wrecking in. And you just give them your ID and check it out, and you get your ID back when you return the object.
If you ain't got no ID, you get part of your clothes.
Yeah.
You get the jacket.
Yeah, that shouldn't be hard to do. Yeah, man, I just wanted to, like, you know, we met over 20-something years ago, and this is the first time that we've had an opportunity to be out together at the same time and to kick it. You know.
So, I was thinking about you though. You and Bridget. I went in there a couple times and called you out. They said you were not there. You were sick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, man, since I've been home,
It was
dog,
like 2 weeks they said you was
I've been sick 5 times. Threw out my back 4. I've been a mess since I've been home, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only spot to catch you on. And it's all I be. I try to leave, I can't. Cause I'm like, but thinks you know, I'm walking in slow motion.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say before we turn it off?
Just to the youth, cause the young generation. We started it, certain things, but you guys is the one that finish it and end it. And you guys could end the gang beefs out there, or who y'all beef with. Slowly fold that flag up, put it up, and then it should not be no gangs like that, or friendship, whatever it is. If it's something bad, you're not supposed to do, that ain't the right way, because you get arrested for that. The ways you think, I think. Don't even get, if you're not even started, don't even get involved. It's something you don't want to be in. You think it's cool until you're under pressure. That's where you're at then. That's it.
You know, like when we're in there, we're sitting at tables with dudes that we otherwise would have been beefing with, that we had beef with on the streets. But through the course of, because of the circumstances that we're in, like, in there you have the Crip Coalition. You're a Crip, you ride under one car, Crip car, but each Crip car is from different hoods, not just out of California, but all across the United States. And you already know out in California, there's Crip hoods that kill each other, that beef with each other. But when they come to the penitentiary, they're riding under the umbrella Crip. They're all one car. So they're forced to sit at a table, forced to socialize with dudes that are from another hood that they might not got along with on the street. But through the course of the time that they're there together, sitting in the same unit, eating together at the same table, whatever, they get a chance to know each other. And they build a relationship, and they build respect, and even love each other, and even have a relationship that's lasts till this day. My thing is, why wait? Why sit out here and kill each other on the street and have to wait till we're thrown in prison for us to force us to get along, to even get to know each other, and come to find out that we actually respect these other people? You know, how do we make it where we're getting to know each other out here, so we can decide out here before we go into the penitentiary if we like each other, respect each other or not? Because we're doing a disservice to our community. And when I speak of our community, I'm speaking about the youth that are trying to follow in our footsteps. They're out here carrying on these beefs and these wars, killing each other, while their older homies are in the penitentiary sitting at the same table with dudes that are from the opposition. So how are we doing our youth a service if we're able to be inside the penitentiary to sit at these tables? Because we understand when we're there, we're already grown men. We understand, like, okay, we continue on with the beef, we're just going to be locked down, we're just going to be shipped out or whatever. So all these circumstances, all these negative circumstances that is going to come about if we continue to beef, we don't want to go through that. So we come up with rules, with laws that we all can abide by so we can coexist. You know, where the line, we draw lines. This is not acceptable. We can conduct business, we conduct commerce. We put laws and rules in place in the penitentiary so that we can all coexist for the most part. And for the most part, we do. So if we're able to coexist and conduct business and transaction with respect, why are we not able to do that out here? Why are we not calling home and preaching that stuff to the youth out here, to our kids out here? Like, I can't be in good conscience sit there with a dude from a hood that my homies out there is trying to kill. So if I am sitting here with a dude from a hood that my homies are out there trying to kill, but me and this dude build a relationship, a rapport, then I feel it's our responsibility and an obligation that we call home and let them know what's going on. Like, hey man, you know, we're all Asians, or we're all homies. Like, you guys need to figure out how to put aside your differences. I mean, there's certain things that I'm not in a position to speak on as far as how you feel about someone. But for the most part, I think we can all accept that most of our beef is just because somebody's from the other side of the street, or somebody's from a different gang, or we're a different color. We're not even getting to know that person or don't know anything about that person, but we've already been conditioned that this is the opposition. So when we see it's on sight and we're killing each other, then we get locked up. Like the Asian Islander in California, they don't get along with each other. They kill each other. We can go down the list of gangs, but when they get locked up out there in California, they got an express module that they house the Asian Islanders because of the ongoing beef they have with the Mexicans at that time. So these dudes are forced to come into a pod. You know, all the Asian Islanders are forced into one pod because they're outnumbered by the Mexicans. But these dudes are beefing on the street. But when they come into the pod, they have an understanding that we leave the street stuff on the streets. Think about that. So you're trying to kill each other on the street, but when you come in because of circumstances that you need the numbers to protect yourself because your enemy outnumber you, you're forced into a coalition to get along. But how does that work? If I just try to kill you on the street, now we're locked up. Now we have rules that we're supposed to get along. And okay, say we abide by the rules and we do get along. So if we're in there getting along, why are we continuing to allow our young homies continue to kill each other on the streets and only wait to come in and hang out with each other in here. It doesn't make any sense. And we just got to wake up to that reality. Like, if you're still, like, there's still gangs that are on site. When they see each other in the penitentiary, they kill each other. No questions asked, no ifs and ands. If that's how they're carrying it, then, you know, I don't have any issues with them people out here doing the same thing. I'm speaking to just the people that's been in the penitentiary, that sat down with dudes from opposition gangs and build rapport and relationships with them dudes. That's the people that I'm speaking about. Like, if you're, like, especially with us Asian Islanders, you know, you already know the histories with out here with the Regs, the TCs, the Samoans, the Tongans, and the rest, and with us the Asians, with them other dudes and us. Like, we out here killing each other on the streets, but we're all in there in the penitentiary right now with a coalition, the poly card. You know, we still break down into our different gangs and stuff, but the polys and the Asians, we all ride together. And they're all of them are all from different gangs that beef out here on the streets, but they're all riding together in there. So that's just that's the whole thing, what I'm doing is that if you're riding together in there, then we need to ride together out here. Mm-hmm. And we need to stop feeding our kids through the system by misleading them. Thank you for watching this episode. Like I said, this is my friend, Paul Amma. You know, this is his whole life right here. He's been cripped out his whole life from 9 years old. You know, but this is not what I don't feel. I mean, he hasn't said anything, but I feel like the person that he is today is not the person that he don't want to be remembered just, you know, seated up from Compton Crip. You know, the things that we do through the course of his life, we've learned through our circumstances how to be men. And at the end of the day, this is a man according to like I said, if you agree or disagree with the choices we made, but from our perspective, from the life that we bought into, you know, he's reached the upper echelon as far as respect goes, because he's done everything that is expected of him. But, you know, just like him, we come to a point in our lives that we understand that this ain't the road that we want the generation behind us to follow. And if there's anything that we can say here or say down the road that can deter one or two kids from that, then we can reflect on our time and maybe it wasn't in vain. You know. Thanks for taking the time. I know you're going through a lot, brother, man.
Thank you. No, it was a trip because I was down. I couldn't even get up, but right before he came, I just had the energy.
I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you. And Laura.
And my wife, the director, editor.
Yeah, this whole experience, like, has made me believe in divine timing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm really grateful that we were able to catch you in a moment that you're feeling up to it.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm grateful for you for everything.
For you. Always being a good person, and you, Laura, always keeping them in line. Whatever you're doing.
All right, and thanks everybody for watching.
If you don't know my story, you gon' think that I'm just wildin'. Cause you know that I'll jump in front of fire for you. Up that stick, blow that bitch, you know I'm fire for you. It won't be long, you gon' see me, I'm gon' shine for you. And you ain't here, so I'm gon' put it on the line for you.